For this presentation, we're going to talk about something we call the hook. The hook is how we excite learners into STEAM education. That word excite is really important. This is about engaging students, getting them really connected to the problem so that they understand that this is about a real-world problem that affects their life. So the hook should be something catchy that makes the idea easy to remember. Many times these units are several weeks long, so it's helpful to help anchor this unit with a hook. It's also a way of engaging the student with a topic to help them think more deeply about it. So what are some ways that you can introduce your STEAM problem scenario with a hook? You could show a short video. There are so many great things available on YouTube. This link here shows a YouTube video of some Nike shoes being washed upon the shore, thousands and thousands and thousands, and asks, where would these come from? This would be a great introduction to a problem if you were doing something around ocean pollution. You could have students play a game where they have to ponder different scenarios that gets them engaged into the topic. Perhaps this is something really helpful if you're doing things related to the government or local issues. Maybe for young students, you have them create some simple artwork by giving them some prompts or some feelings to think about with a problem. Put together a puzzle piece with words on them that reveals the issue. Draw upon background knowledge, but have students tell them what they already know. For example, maybe through storytelling or reading a good book. You can have students listen to music and draw upon the feelings that evoke during this. We've seen some great examples where they have done this with, for example, hurricanes or for ocean waves to talk about maybe erosion. Have students go through short stations with images and words to reflect on. We've seen activities where people have had pictures of different animals and they have prompts that they ask them at each station to get them at those questions, and maybe they respond with sticky notes so students read other ideas as they're going on. Getting ideas from your local newspaper is an awesome way to introduce a STEAM problem. And also have students create a cartoon or even read a cartoon. If you're doing something political, there are some awesome political cartoons that might be appropriate for your older students. So I'm going to walk you through an example of a hook. So the Impossible Burger, as you probably heard, is a new burger by Burger King. And the goal of this burger is to help people realize that plant-based food is an option. And so the Impossible Burger is 100% plant-based food. And so in this STEAM problem scenario, teachers were presenting this problem and kind of asking, is this really better for the environment? Is it better for people? And so they presented this problem to the students through this beginning scenario by having students break into different groups and act as different stakeholders into this problem. So they had students break into groups of nutritionists, scientists, farmers, and restaurant owners. And so by assigning the students these roles first, and then they gave them these ideas to question. So for the nutritionist, they showed them this information saying, okay, you've got this information here. What more information would you want to know? Same with the scientists. They had them watch the future of food, watching the first 4 to 5 minutes, and then asking those questions. What other information would be helpful for you as a scientist? Where would you go next? Farmers, the Eat Less Meat movement is growing. Does it distort the science? So they would read this article on how plant-based food might be affecting farmers. And so they would ask as farmers, where would you go next for more information? And then a restaurant owner in the local area. So they would show, how much would you have to charge for an Impossible Burger? What would this do to your bottom line? Would you actually make money? So they provided these information for them and said, where would you want to go next? By doing this, by breaking the students into these 4 different groups, they asked the students, okay, we've given you some information, now what next? What new questions do you have? And this is an awesome way to engage the students into this topic of the Impossible Burger. So this is just one example of how you can engage learners. It also kind of shows you the creativity of what can be done. As well, through this assignment, by having students act as these different roles, they are giving students both background information and seeing what they already know about this information. At the end of the fact-finding, they did a share out, not a debate, but just a sharing out of what they had and where they were going next. So you can see how this is a really well-developed lesson that both engages student and provides a pre-assessment for the students, for the teachers as they move forward.